House fires. They can happen in the blink of an eye, and they're almost always caused by carelessness or human error. In fact, did you know that cooking equipment remains the #1 cause of reported home fires, injuries, and deaths in the United States?
My son left at home alone. He woke up at some moment and started cooking. So he decided to cook falafel, which is made inside the hot oil. So he poured oil into the pan, and then somebody called him, and he left the house. Some car was passing by and saw the flame going out of the house and called the firefighters.
If you look at the National Fire Protection Agency and the statistics they provide, there's over 1 million incidents of home fires every year, roughly $11.5 billion in property damage. And if you look at the causes of those fires, they're related to children, they're related to candles and heating equipment, but #1 on the list is cooking-related fires.
Of the fires caused by cooking equipment, the majority of root causes remain unattended cooktops, leaving the home with the gas or electric range on. These fires are responsible for billions of dollars in losses per year in the U.S. alone.
We deal every day with customers that have gone through situations like home fires, and it is one of the most incredibly traumatic things that can happen. It's something we don't often think about, but if you know somebody, if you've gone through it yourself, it's one of the most financially, emotionally, and physically distressing things that can happen to you.
Those homes with small children or aging adults are particularly vulnerable to cooktops being turned on accidentally or left on carelessly.
It could be individuals who are aging, people with disability, anyone, average people can walk away from the stove, forget that something's on, and the next thing you know, they're in a pretty bad situation. And roughly 3,000 plus individuals are killed every year. There's even more that are injured, and there's billions of dollars in property damage.
But thanks to an advance in technology, there is finally a solution to the problem that can prevent loss of property and, more importantly, loss of life. Wallflower Labs, a Boston-based startup, has developed a web-connected sensor that can detect a gas or electric burner left unattended and send an alert to a smartphone or tablet, which will allow you to turn the burner off remotely or turn it off automatically if you fail to respond. CEO Viktor Jablikov explains.
I was brainstorming kind of new ideas and new concepts, and I had a personal experience where I forgot to turn the stove off and left the home. 30 minutes later, as I was driving around Boston, I remembered and panicked and drove home. Luckily, there wasn't any fire or anything like that. And then a few months later, my wife did the same thing while we were at a party for a much longer period of time. And again, rushed home. Luckily, it was a close call, nothing happened detrimental to our home, but she said the words, "Why can't I just turn the stove off with my phone?" And initially I went searching for a product that could do just that, and I didn't find anything in the market. And as I explored the Internet of Things space and the opportunity and how detrimental and how big of a problem this is, I made the conclusion that this is probably something that happens to lots of people, not just us. And that really was the spark that led us to begin thinking about launching a company to solve this problem.
This is an ordinary power cord. It's connected behind most electric stoves in America right now. We're working on replacing that with a smart cord, which connects in behind your stove. It's a pretty simple installation. It takes about 5 minutes. It's got a regular cord that replaces the existing one, and a control panel which sits on the wall, and you can control this device using this control panel or using your smartphone. Once it's installed, the Wallflower can monitor whether your stove is turned on based on the energy that it's using, and it can monitor whether you're around based on devices like your smartphone. If it detects that your stove is turned on but you're not around, then you'll get a notification on your phone. If you say, "That's okay, I'm cooking a turkey, leave me alone for the next 5 hours," you can just tell it to ignore that. But if you've left for the airport, say, and you're not going to be back for a couple of days, you can send a command to remotely shut down your stove, and it'll turn it off for you automatically.
The product itself really is there to give more awareness to folks ambiently and in the background to essentially put that appliance back into a safe state where today they either A, aren't even aware that it's in an unsafe state, or B, can't do anything about it even if they did, if they're not at home. And so the fundamental concept of Wallflower really is all about awareness and also convenience and peace of mind.
I think Wallflower would help us realize that something is cooking on the stove and nobody is at home. So we would use Wallflower just to shut the stove off and prevent the fire.
Wallflower has the potential to make our homes safer from the dangers of unattended cooktop fires, saving property and lives. To learn more, visit wallflower.com.